Hi crafty friends, this is card number 15 in Full Deck Challenge 3. My carryover item from last week is going to be the staples. Quick disclaimer that besides the prompt of stack it up, I don't have any idea of what I'm going to be doing with this card. I have my postage stamps, which are my constant. I've just picked 3 that were lying on my desk. And for the first time in this challenge, number 3, I'm going to be covering my card with tissue paper. Something that I was doing on all my cards in the previous 2 challenges. I want to add some color medium to the face of the card. So I'm adding the tissue paper to create a good surface to hold that color medium. I'm going to attach the tissue paper to the card with Mod Podge. I'm also going to apply a layer of Mod Podge over the tissue paper once I've placed it down. I'm then going to dry it well and tear off the excess tissue paper. I want a rough, ragged edge. Now, not forgetting our overall theme for this challenge, which is mini collage, I'm going to collage the bottom section of this card. I've just grabbed a few bits of scrapbook paper that are lying on my desk, and I'm going to put them together very quickly and not thinking about it too much. This is more about creating texture. I'm going to use, again, Mod Podge to attach these collage pieces to the card. The prompt for next week is sew. It's never too late to join in the Full Deck Challenge. You can join at any time on any card. You can follow my cards exactly or just use them as inspiration. If you're on Facebook, you can also join my group. Just search Full Deck Challenge group. And I'm remembering to keep the 2 of diamonds visible so that you can see it's a plain card. Not mandatory, but a mini challenge I set myself for this challenge. I'm drying that layer of Mod Podge really well, and then I'm going to apply some white gesso. I'm just using my finger for this, and I'm going over mostly just the collage papers. I'm also going over the red of the plain card just to soften that color a little bit. I'm not totally covering the collage paper. I am leaving some of the designs and colors to shine through. For my color, I've decided to go for a really bright orange, and I'm using my color burst powders. These are concentrated watercolor powder. I've just put a small sprinkling onto the one section of my card, and then I sprayed with water. And then I just move the card around and let that liquid move around and let it create its own patterns. I've applied a bit more to get a darker orange, and then I'm dipping my paintbrush in some of the liquidy bits and doing a little bit of splatter just to extend that color out. You can see all these beautiful designs it is creating as it flows over the different papers from our collage and the gesso that's underneath. Now for the prompt of stack it up, I'm just going to stack a whole heap of papers over each other. I have this beautiful netting with some white bits on it. It looks like big chunks of paint. This is available from Taperlogy, and I'll put a link to their website in the description box below. It's creating some beautiful texture underneath these other papers. And then I'm really just looking at papers that are lying around in my desk. I'm going for the softer oranges and light pinks and a little bit of turquoise. And I'm just cutting little bits, some bigger than the others, and then sort of gradually going smaller. The idea is to stack them sort of very irregularly over each other, but you want to be able to see the underneath one. So it needs to be slightly bigger than the one on top of that. I had the idea of placing a stacked pile on the bottom left of the card and then also behind the card on the top right. This eventually didn't actually work out like I wanted it. So you can see me here just trying to get things to work. I'm trying different elements, which of course this is always a process about experimenting and trying things until you find something that you're happy with. And for my constant, which is a postage stamp, I've just put it as one of the elements of my little stack. It's just there in between all the other pieces. There's a bit of turquoise on the stamp that I've used, and I'm carrying on that turquoise for contrast in that spotty paper that I'm placing. Otherwise, I think the overall card will be quite monotonous. I'm really loving that netting with the white blobs on, and I wanted to try and sneak another piece in here because I think it looks so good. Let's see if I can make it work. So that's the idea of my stacked pieces. I'm going to use my stapler to keep them in place, which is my carryover item from last week. I'm just trying to place them so a little bit of each one is showing somewhere. And then realize that netting with the blobs is a little too long, so let's just cut that a little shorter. And then we're going to staple. I have this cute sentiment which says utter nonsense, which I absolutely love. This is actually a die cut sentiment that is available from Funky Fossil, link in the description box below. And because I have so many elements in my little stack and the staples might not hold everything, I am going to put a little bit of glue just underneath some of them just to keep everything in place. I'm going to stick that down with some clear craft glue. I want to carry that turquoise up a little bit just to create some more contrast. So I'm going to use my small round punch and I'm just going to punch some little circles with the same turquoise of the spotty paper. And I'm going to stick just a couple at the top to carry that turquoise color up. I really love how that turned out, considering I had no idea what I was going to do with today's prompt. I still feel though that if something is needed in the top right, just behind the card, to create some balance, because at the moment it feels quite bottom left heavy. So I'm going to place one piece of paper, which is the spiral end of that light peachy pink color, just behind it and letting the little spiral bits hang off the card to the right. And then the little X's that I used in my stack, I'm going to cut out just one darker one and stick that at the top as well, just for some continuity. Let me show you a close-up of the card so you can see all the beautiful details, all the textures, and the finishes. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch. I really hope you enjoyed this card and were inspired to create your own and maybe even join in the full deck challenge. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the little bell so you're notified every time I upload new content. Thanks again for watching, happy creating, and I'll see you again soon. Bye!